Hey everyone, good to see you. Um, I am finally going to try to do a vlog. It feels really awkward. I haven't talked into the camera in a really long time, and I've kind of been drinking some umeshu straight from the source, straight from the bottle or jar or whatever. So
A little bit sauced at the moment, but
I don't care. I want to do this. I want to talk to you guys. I thought because you guys have only really seen me do live performance videos pretty much for the most part, that it would be kind of cool to do like a little bit of a life update video slash getting to know me kind of thing, just so I can share a little bit of information about myself with you guys. And for those of you that speak English, you can maybe learn a little bit more about me than just seeing me playing songs in the middle of Japan. Yeah, maybe I can tell you kind of how I got here, what I'm doing in Japan. Yeah, kind of just a little bit of background about my life, pretty much. So let's do it. Oh, so good. Okay, so yeah, at this point, I've been living in Japan for about a year and a half. And that was not the initial plan. The initial plan for me was that I was going to live here for a year and then go back to my life in Chicago. I'm from Chicago. I had been living there all my life, pretty much. I grew up in a suburb of Chicago called Arlington Heights, and I moved to the city of Chicago when I was 19 in 2009. And I went to Columbia College, studying music at first, but then I ended up changing to graphic design. And in Columbia College, I met a lot of friends. We ended up making a lot of music together and forming Nature's Neighbor. And I still have a lot of dear friends in Chicago, and I had a whole life there, you know? I mean, I lived there for 12 years in the city of Chicago. I had a whole life there and tons of people that, you know, were dear friends and loved ones. And I basically told all of them, you know, during the pandemic, I like simultaneously turned 30 when the worst of the pandemic was happening. And I kind of had like a bit of a midlife or like a turning 30 crisis. I don't know what you call it. But basically it was just like, Jesus Christ, I'm turning 30. The world is in shambles. My country is a fucking dumpster fire. If, you know, for those of you that remember what 2020 was like. Yeah, I kind of got to a point where I had to reevaluate my life, and I had some goals that I had yet to accomplish, and one of them was moving to Japan and trying to, you know, just like 99% of the, you know, foreigners that come here, or you know, 75% or whatever, I wanted to get a job teaching English to get me into Japan so I could live in Japan for at least a year. I had studied the language for 2 years in university. And I thought it would be a cool thing to go try to live in Japan for a while. I got the job. They put me in Kyoto. I got placed in Kyoto in a small town called Sonobe, which is in the northern part of Kyoto, in a kind of collection of towns called Nantanshi, which is actually where Shigeru Miyamoto is actually from. But anyway, yeah, so I moved here and left my life behind in Chicago, telling everybody, you know, my loved ones and my friends and everything, I'll be back in a year, don't worry about it. And, you know, this part is a little bit hard for me to talk about. But yeah, I ended up meeting so many friends immediately and making so many connections with people. I'm not talking about like business connections or professional connections. I'm talking about like real human connections with tons of people here. Not only in Kyoto, but other places like Ehime Prefecture, Kagoshima Prefecture, in Tokyo and things like that, and Osaka. That by the time my contract was about, you know, I had signed a contract saying I will work for 1 year only. But as the months went on, I started to regret that decision, kind of. And I was like, man, I really don't want to leave after a year. My life is just like, I was really happy, like living here by myself up here in this small rural town. I didn't want to leave it behind, but I had signed a contract saying that I was coming back after a year. And that was going to be in August. I was going to leave Japan and go back to Chicago in August. But in May, the school I worked at came to me and they said, Mike, you have to come to the office and talk to the principal and the vice principal. And I was like, okay, did I do something wrong? Is everything okay? They're like, no, you didn't do anything wrong. Just, you gotta come talk to us. And they sat me down and basically they told me that my replacement teacher, for family reasons or personal reasons or whatever it ended up being, ended up pretty much ghosting the school at the last minute, leaving them with no options for a, new ALT to fill the spot that I would be, leaving. And they said, God, Mike, we know that you need to go back to your loved ones and your family and your friends, but we are in a tight spot here. And if you can help us out, we would really appreciate it. And it was a huge shock to me. I was like, I'm going to need some time to think about this. And they're like, okay, we'll give you 10 days to decide. And those 10 days, man, I mean, I kind of like stopped eating. I started smoking heavily. It was just the hardest decision I ever had to make in my life. And without getting into too much detail, like, I had people waiting for me in Chicago that were depending on me. And it took until like, I think the 9th day, something like that, up until the end, to where I decided, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to continue living in Japan because something feels right about this. And even though I have to sacrifice a lot to continue living here, I'm going to do it. So here I am, 1.5 years in, and I've got a lot ahead of me. I've got a lot of hurdles to jump. I got to really buckle down and commit to my decision. And it's funny, there's this, people have that saying, be careful what you wish for. If you get it, it might not be what you think it is. And I had always dreamed and fantasized about living in Japan, and then it's not always what you imagine, although it is amazing. And I feel like this is only the beginning. And I want to include you guys in on this, this journey I'm taking. I don't know how long I'm going to be an English teacher. I want to do this job like at least for 3 years, I think. And then after that, I don't know. I mean, this YouTube channel is tiny, so I just don't see any way of being able to do this. I mean, it is a dream of mine to be able to be someone who makes videos of music and vlogs and stuff, and is able to, do that for a living. I'm so far from being able to do that. But now's the time for me to start actually going for my goals. And so I thought I'd try to grow the YouTube channel a little bit more towards, being a bit more personal. Instead of just only uploading videos of me performing, I thought it'd be nicer if you guys could get to know me a little bit better, and I can get to know you a little bit more. So if any of you are watching this and thinking,
what the hell, why isn't he singing a song?
That's cool, but if you're actually interested in this and like this kind of video, I'd love it if you could drop a comment and let me know, if you're there, if you're out there and you're interested in what I'm doing, say what's up. And I always reply to comments, so I'd love to say hello and get to know you a bit better. And yeah, so I think this year, this channel is going to go through a little change where instead of strictly live performance videos, we're going to have half of the content, or maybe 70% of the content, still be live performance videos. But I'm going to start uploading videos of this nature, to do the things like I said before, to kind of like establish more of a friendship bond between us. Hopefully it's something that you guys enjoy. So yeah, take one more sip of this shit. Oh my god, I spilled on myself. That's what you get for drinking umeshu during a vlog, huh? Fuck. Anyway, it was so good to do this. I'm actually really glad that I did this. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And I really appreciate all of you guys' support. And I'm looking forward to see where this year takes us. So yeah, this has been Mike from Nature's Neighbor, signing off. See you next time.